Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. Warm welcome to you to this very special program this evening and to the viewers online. Today we have a very special guest with us. He's Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today we have His Grace Vijaya Prabhu, who is the international minister for book distribution. Prabhu, you have with us here many moons who have been doing book distribution for many years. So we're very fortunate to have your association. Just a little background on Vijaya Prabhu for those who may not know Prabhu. Vijaya Prabhu joined Krishna Consciousness in 1978 in Miami, Florida. His first service was book distribution. In 1983, Prabhu was appointed as the Sankirtan leader of the Miami Temple, making Miami the top book distribution center in the US. In 1990, Prabhu became the temple president but still continued book distribution. In 1991, he went to Los Angeles to distribute books. In 1995, inspired by His Holiness Ganapati Swami, Prabhu started distributing books from a book table at different universities. And then in 2002, the GBC appointed Vijay Prabhu the International Minister of Book Distribution. Haribo! And over the years, Prabhu connects devotees across the world by this wonderful activity of book distribution through different seminars and inspiring devotees to please Srila Prabhupada even more by increasing their book distribution campaigns. So Prabhu, we'd like to hand over to you to share the nectar of book distribution today. A few announcements. We do have the Treasures of Briyat Mridanga, which is compiled by Vijay Prabhu, and in this book you'll find many valuable jewels to help us in our book distribution. And we will have more announcements at the end. Over to you, Vijay Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For the past 10 years I've been asking him to take over the service. So finally he accepted. So Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Dila Vanachari Yamuna Dila Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Go, Premanandi. So we're going to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam about the importance of spreading the wisdom that we've fortunately received. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. Krishne Savamo Bhagate Dharmagyana Divisaha Kalau Nastam Visamesha Pranarko Dinoditaha. Actually, Srila Prabhupada said this is what we should say to people when they to get them to take a book. And some devotees would do that. This Bhagavat Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Purport. Lord Shri Krishna has his eternal dham, or abode, where he eternally enjoys himself with his eternal associates and paraphernalia. And his eternal abode is a manifestation of his internal energy, whereas the material world is a manifestation of his external energy. When he descends on the material world, he displays himself with all paraphernalia in his internal potency, which is called Atma Maya. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he descends by his own potency, Atma Maya. His form, name, fame, paraphernalia, abode, etc. are not, therefore, creations of matter. He descends to reclaim the fallen souls and to re-establish the codes of religion which are directly enacted by him. So we'll say a little bit about that and then we'll continue. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Takshram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ukram Kodava Chalang Pangum Lang Hayate Gurim Yat Kripa Talaham Bande Shri Gurum Binataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubdeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So here Prabhupada mentions that Krishna comes to reclaim the fallen souls. So he comes to help the conditioned souls. People are suffering in this material world. And Krishna is known as Paradukkha-dukhi. Devotees are also known as Paradukkha-dukhi. When they see others suffering, it gives pain. So Krishna, he's everyone's father. He wants to see everybody happy. So he comes and he speaks the Bhagavad Gita, which is like an instruction manual for the human form of life. This is how we learn about how to get out of this prison of material life and how to engage in devotional service. Yeah. So this is the goal of the human form of life, is to once again engage in devotional service. This is the pleasure of the soul. But people don't know about this. They're interested mostly in just satisfying their senses. This is the religion of the age is sense gratification. Just want to try to satisfy their senses and their mind. But they're never going to be satisfied. And therefore, anybody know what is the biggest disease now in the world? Anybody know? Huh? Anybody know? Say it loud. No? No, there's one disease. There's one disease that sticks out amongst all the others. Stress. Stress. So much stress. People are in anxiety. And from stress, so many other diseases come. Right? So, this process of Krishna consciousness, it's a blissful process. It's very nice process. Even though we're not pure devotees, still, even though we're in the process of becoming pure devotees, still it's nice. Yeah, nice kirtan, nice prasadam, nice association. It's a nice process. So we're trying to invite people into this nice process, and that's where book distribution comes in. We distribute books, and some people, rare, some people become attracted. Many people aren't attracted. And therefore, book distribution, it's not that easy. We try to get people to take a book. Mainly what is difficult is getting much rejection. Nobody likes rejection. Everybody likes, you go out and want everybody to say yes and take a book and give a nice donation. Right? Then it wouldn't be a problem. But then there's no austerity. Srila Prabhupada said, austerity is the wealth of the brahmanas. Nayam lokosta yagyasya. Krishna says that if one does not perform austerity or sacrifice in this life, one cannot be happy in this life, nor the next. So austerity is very good. Prabhupada told the Gurukul teachers, teach the children the joy of austerity. Now generally, austerity means something difficult, How is it the joy of austerity? And in the beginning, when we first become bhaktas, we hear we got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning, or 3:30. And like, what? That's the time where you should go to sleep. And now you want me to wake up this time? So in the beginning, it's an austerity. But then as we continue on, then it becomes nice. Waking up in the early in the morning, chanting our japa. So it's not an austerity anymore. In book distribution also, it can be a little austerity. Approaching people, it may be very hot. Sometimes it gets hot here. Yeah. Cold also? Does it get cold? No. A little bit. A little bit. So there's some austerity. But that's good. Just like when we get rejection, that's good, because that helps us to develop tolerance. So when people say no, we still say thank you, because they're helping us develop tolerance. Titikshava karunika surya sarvadena jata sattavata santa sadhava sadhava. This is one of the main qualities. The first one, titikshava, tolerance. Titikshava karunika. And if we're tolerant, then we can be compassionate. And compassion is a wonderful quality. But without tolerance, that's not going to happen. So tolerance is very important. So when people say no, thank you, because they're helping me in developing this important quality. So titikshava karuna surda sarvadehina. We go out on book distribution. There's one devotee who says, I go out on book distribution to make friends. So it's a very personal, book distribution is very personal. And therefore, when we go on book distribution also, an important aspect of distributing books is get their name. How you doing? I'm from California. Where are you from? And sometimes you go, how do you stop people? Well, that's how I stop people. I'm from California. Where are you from? Vaiseshika, he has a radar. He waves at them. That's his radar. And if they wave back, oh, how you doing? They stop. The radar. So, and there's different things you could say. Actually, Prabhupada said that when you first meet someone, hey, I'm from here. Where are you from? What kind of work do you do? Just have a little friendly discussion. And then, you get their name, because everybody likes to hear their name. You get their name, and then you repeat their name also. And it's also very good to praise them, like, oh, you're dressed very nicely, or nice hat you're wearing there, just praise them, Everybody loves to be praised, so it's good. I have one friend, he's the biggest book distributor in the world. He's distributed more books than anybody else on the planet. And he says, I glorify them in at least 3 different ways. You look very intelligent. You're such a nice, he'll praise them in 3 different ways. And then they appreciate it and they reciprocate. So, praise will get you everywhere. So, just like we like it, everybody likes to get some recognition, some praise. Why? Because we have this false ego, right? Everybody has a false ego. So they have a false ego also. Of course, when they get this knowledge, they learn that actually we're meant to give up the false ego. We can't give up ego. Ego means identity. So this knowledge is meant to help people come to their real identity. The real identity is servant of Krishna. So we're trying to help people understand this reality, that we're servants. Either we're serving Krishna or we're serving Maya. And practically everybody, they're serving their senses, they're serving Maya. So we're trying to bring them away from this service to illusion, to service to reality, serving Krishna. This brings happiness to the soul. So we're distributing books to them, and when people take a book and walk away, it gives such a good feeling. How many of you distributed books before? Okay, practically everybody. It's a good feeling, isn't it? People walk away with one of Prabhupada's books. And one thing about book distribution is that it's all about prayer. It's like Queen Kunti, she prays, please Krishna, give me difficulty. Please, she's praying, Krishna, please give me difficulty. Now some psychiatrists here in South Africa might think, well, this person needs to see a psychiatrist, praying for difficulty. Who prays for difficulty? But she says, when difficulty comes, then I take shelter of you, I pray to you. So when we have difficulty on book distribution, this is good. That gives opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. Just like there's a verse that Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion, he says this verse is the guide for all devotees. This is the only verse that Prabhupada said is the guide for all devotees. So everybody should know this verse. It's 10:14:8. If you want to take a note of it, it's very important. I've chanted this verse on book distribution thousands of times. So it's very important. 10:14:8. So this is a prayer by Lord Brahma after he had stolen the cowherd boys and the calves, and he's kind of testing Krishna. Let's see where he's at. So he'd stolen them, came back, and they're still there. And he's thinking, oh no, now I'm in trouble. And then they manifest all the Vishnu forms. And then he knew, I'm in big trouble. So he started chanting the prayers of Lord Brahma, and this is the most important one. Tattena kampang susamik samano bunjana evatmi kritam vipakam hridvagpor virviratam namaste jiveta yomukti padoy sadoyabhag. He says, always seeking your compassion, Krishna, thus tolerating all difficulties as being due to my own past activities, and serving you with my mind, body, and words, such a devotee is eligible to inherit the kingdom of God. So when difficulties come, the devotee thinks, oh, this is good, I deserve this. Actually, I deserve much worse, but Krishna is very kind. He's reduced it. And then, so that's the negative aspect. And then positive is that he goes on continually serving Krishna with his mind, body, and words. So that's the positive aspect. So, difficulties come, they're welcome, because that gives opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. There's a nice example given by one devotee. Imagine there's a well, kind of deep well, maybe 50 feet. There's water in the well, okay? And there's a rope hanging down the well. And there's a man hanging on the rope. And in the water, there's a crocodile, okay? You got the picture? Crocodile in the water, in the well. Man is hanging on a rope in the well. And the water is rising. Okay? Now if the water is rising, guess what else is rising? The crocodile. Now generally we all know it's not easy to climb up a rope. Body's heavy. But if you got a crocodile coming towards you, it's not a problem. World record will be made. Because the adrenaline will flow, and climbing up that rope is no problem. Absolutely no problem. So that difficulty gave rise for him to get out. So difficulty is good. It gives rise for us to take shelter of Krishna. So it's very good. We should welcome it. So we're going to continue with this nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. Except for God, no one can establish the principles of religion. Either he or a suitable person empowered by him can dedicate or dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relation with him and our duties in relation with him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this material body. The conditioned souls who are entrapped by the material energy hardly know all these principles of life. Most of them are like animals, engaging in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. They are mostly engaged in sense enjoyment, under the pretension of religiosity, knowledge, or salvation. They are still more blind in the present age of quarrel, or Kali Yuga. In the Kali Yuga, the population is just a royal addition of the animals. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement in knowledge, science, and material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body, for they have completely lost sight of the ultimate aim of life. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna appeared before us just a little prior to the beginning of Kali Yuga, and he returned to his eternal abode practically at the commencement of Kali Yuga. While he was present, he exhibited everything by his different activities. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita specifically and eradicated all pretentious principles of religiosity. And prior to his departure from this material world, he empowered Sri Vyasadeva through Narada to compile the messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And thus, both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are like torch bearers for the blind people of this age. Torch bearers. So there's so much darkness in Kali Yuga. So these books are torch bearers to shine light in the darkness of Kali Yuga. And the book distributors, they're the carriers of the torch. We're carrying the torch to lighten up Kali Yuga. So Krishna is very pleased that we're carrying these books. We're carrying the torches. And not only do they get enlightened, by getting them, we also get enlightened. We also advance because Krishna is so pleased by this activity. So the more we distribute these torches, the more the world becomes enlightened. Yeah? And this is the desire of a devotee. Sarva Sukhino Bhavantu. Believe it or not, the mission of the Krishna consciousness movement is to help everybody become happy. Big challenge. Because there's a lot of suffering in the material world. But I read that and thought, wow, what a nice mission. Our mission statement, to help everybody become happy. And it's there in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. Read Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said, if you read my books, you'll stay devotees. If you distribute my books, you'll be happy. And so many devotees have told me that spent many years distributing books. Practically without exception, they would say that my best years in this life have been on book distribution. And one may ask, well, why? It's not an easy service. Because Krishna was pleased. So Krishna, he's the Parameshvara. He's the supreme controller. So if we please Krishna, he's also in control of our happiness and distress. So if we please him, we'll be happy. If we displease him, we won't be happy. So this is the most pleasing thing to Krishna, this distribution of transcendental literature. And I'll give you some, there's different techniques of book distribution. In the beginning, the first technique was they would put books in bookstores because they had no idea. They had all these books, boxes and boxes and boxes of books. And the early devotees had no idea. Nobody knew how to distribute books. So they did what Prabhupada did. They put the books in stores on consignment. If someone would buy one, he would go back and then they'd put another one and get the money, like that. But then eventually they started doing door-to-door. That was the first major type of book distribution. And Prabhupada actually writes in his books, in his purports, 90 times door-to-door. So door-to-door is very good for many reasons. One is that when you go to door-to-door, you meet someone interested, you have their address right there. So you can go back, And many people have become devotees from door-to-door book distribution. I just spoke to Vibhu Chaitanya Das in Joburg, and when I called him, he was on door-to-door book distribution. I was like, wow, good example. So door-to-door is very good. Of course, the women should always go in twos for safety. But yeah, door-to-door is very good book distribution. So and then, at least in America, they started doing airports. We were distributing books in all the airports in America because it was considered a public forum. And in America, they have freedom of speech, freedom of religion in all public areas. So then they eventually took that away from us due to our foolishness. But now mostly we're doing schools, universities. We can go to all the public universities and even some private. So that's really nice. The biggest book distributor last year in the world was distributing books from a table at a university, and he's 73 years old. Brigupati Prabhu. Amazing. He told me recently, he said, yeah, I think I'll distribute books till I'm 83. And now we have a book distributor I just met recently, Gadagaraja Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple. He's 80 years old and he's still distributing books. So, good future. He's got a good future. So, and other places also around the world are using this table book distribution. In London, devotees were doing book distribution from a table, and I think here also. You distribute from a table? Or no? Yeah? Excuse me. So table book distribution is very good. And actually what this devotee, actually the number one book distributor who's distributed more than anyone else in the history of ISKCON, he has a sign about book distribution, or books on yoga, meditation, like that. And he has a little free sign, but he always has small books for free. In the beginning, when they first started the free sign, they didn't actually have any free books. They had the sign just to keep people to stop. But then if you have a free sign, then you have to have free books also. Otherwise, it doesn't look good. So when they come to the table and they ask, oh, what are the free books? And then yeah, you can take these, about 3 different types of small books or medium books they can take for free. And then, but these other books we ask for donations for. And he had his biggest day. I think he did like 780 books in one day, just sitting at a table. And he doesn't even call them over. They just come to the table. So, pretty easy. So, those are some of the ways. And now, yeah, I just heard from Radharaman Prabhu that they have so many books in the airport. They have a store in the airport. And I heard from this Mataji also they have a bookstore in the mall where they're distributing books. Now, I go all over the world, and I don't know of any place in the world where we have a bookstore in the airport or a store where we're distributing Prabhupada's books. I'm sure other books. Excuse me, is it just books? It's just a bookstore, or what is it? Just books. And Prabhupada's books. How many different varieties are there? 10 different varieties of Prabhupada's books. There's no place in the world where that is happening. This is amazing. And also in the mall, some mall, how many books are they making available? 5. And they're distributing. So it's amazing. Yeah. So that's another. This is unprecedented. This is that you're doing this. It's like amazing, wonderful. So let's see, any other ways? Now there's also a type of book distribution where they're distributing stacks called saptarisis, 7 books. You do that, and you're also doing stacks. Another thing is that Atlanta, Georgia is just like they've reached a whole nother amazing level where they're distributing full Srimad Bhagavatam sets to people that have never heard of Krishna. One Bhakta, he broke the record. He did 12 Srimad Bhagavatam sets in one day. He distributed 3 sets to one lady, and she gave $1,275. 3 Srimad Bhagavatam sets, and she didn't know anything about Krishna. Whole another level. See, Krishna's given us an idea of, how high we can go. Now here in Durban, there's many Indian families, yeah, You can go door to door and try to sell sets. Yeah. People will take them, I'm sure. So, any other techniques? In America, we go to concerts. We distribute a lot of books at concerts, musical concerts. They have those here also, musical concerts? Can you go in? So you do that? You're able to do that? Yeah, that's nice, yeah. We distribute so many books at concerts. It's very nice. Yeah. And also, another thing we do in America is we go to parking lots. You can do parking lots here? At some? So these are varieties of ways that we can distribute. So maybe I'll ask if there's any questions, or leave some time for questions. Yeah. Yeah. $89 for this year. Very good. Yeah. Also, on the internet, there's a lot of devotees being made, especially in Russia. They're making so many devotees from online preaching. So that's something that some of our tech people here might be able to plug into. It's an amazing way to make devotees now. Yeah. Online preaching. Also in America, we distribute a lot of books on Amazon. So that's I'm sure this is going to be an increase on book distribution. Yeah. Smita Krishna. So you go on a telethon, marathon. How many books on the telephone? So you distribute a lot of books in that way, huh? Two or 300? In what period of time? An hour. Well, that's pretty good. That's probably the record. In an hour, you mean you have a lot of people calling? Very good. So there's another technique for book distribution. Telethon. Marathon. Oh, right, yeah. All over the world, a lot of devotees were selling books on the phone. Yeah. Opened up another way of distribution. Any other comments or questions? Yeah. Yeah, you have? No. You put your finger. Yeah. How to sustain the reading Prabhupada's books. You have to regularly read Prabhupada's books, because by reading Prabhupada's books, then we get inspired and we get purified. And another thing is our sadhana in japa, chanting good, attentive japa. Of course, that's a challenge in itself, right? But attentively reading Prabhupada's books, attentively chanting our japa, this gives inspiration. It's all it's actually all in the holy name. You got to really take shelter of the holy name, and of course associating with devotees that are also inspired in book distribution. It rubs off onto us. So hearing gives inspiration. Regularly hearing Prabhupada's lectures, reading Prabhupada's books. Because Prabhupada, he's again and again he's expressing the importance. It's like in this verse here. So many purports, he's expressing the importance of getting the message out to the people. There's so many books out there. Millions of books. But they're getting more and more bound to the material world by reading these books. But these are transcendental books. Prabhupada wanted everybody on the planet to have at least one BBT book. So far we've distributed well over 500 million books. But we got a lot more. There's a lot more. A lot more coverage that we have to do. There's a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that literature which does not give descriptions of the glories of the Lord are said by sages to be places of pilgrimage for crows. And devotees of the Lord, they do not derive any pleasure there. On the other hand, that literature which does give descriptions of the glories of the Lord are of another creation directed towards bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. So that's what these books do. They create a revolution in the heart, in the mind. Because it's very powerful. Krishna's words are very powerful. Prabhupada's words are very powerful. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, in one purport, Prabhupada says that Krishna, he's compared to a diamond. And the pure devotee, he's compared to gold. So if you have a gold ring, a beautiful gold ring, and you put a beautiful diamond in there, they're very attractive. They complement each other. So when we're distributing books, we're not distributing paper and ink. We're distributing gold and diamonds. Priceless. Priceless wisdom. So we should be enthusiastic to give this knowledge out. Prabhupada wrote a letter to Rameshwar, who was in charge of the BBT in America. He said, our temples are not places for eating and sleeping, but they are bases from where we send out our soldiers to fight against Maya. And to fight against Maya means to drop hundreds and thousands and millions of books on the laps of the conditioned souls. Just as during wartime the bombs are dropping from the sky like anything. So, yeah, these books are bombs. And they destroy people's material life. And sometimes they're like time bombs. You know, sometimes the books, they sit in people's shelves for years. Just like this devotee Aruta from Boise, Idaho, and her husband. Her husband had gotten a book, Bhagavad Gita, from somebody in the airport, and it was sitting in their bookshelf for 10 years. 10 years it's sitting there. Tick, 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 ticking away. Time bomb. So Aruda, his wife, she got pregnant, and she's sitting around and said, what should I do? So she saw the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe I'll read the Bhagavad Gita. And she read it. She finished it, and she was amazed about the profound wisdom in the Bhagavad Gita. And she told her husband, you should read this book. It's completely amazing. He read it, and he was like, yeah, this is great. So they were living in Philadelphia at that time, I think. And they were visiting the temple, gradually becoming devotees. And then he was, his work transferred him to Boise, Idaho, where there's no temple for 200 or 300 miles away. So he thought, well, we'll make our own temple. So they turned their house into a temple, and to this day, it's a nice temple. It's a booming temple. I was just there maybe 4 months ago. I was there or 5 months ago. I was there for the Janmashtami festival. Lots of devotees, 200 devotees. There was no temple there, but he went there because he got the Bhagavad Gita. It was sitting there for 10 years, waiting. So many people, they have books, and they're just sitting in their books, but we don't know. Maybe they'll pick them up. We don't know. It's like sometimes when we're distributing books, people, they give excuses, right? Why they don't want to take a book. And one of the reasons is they say, no, I don't have time. You ever hear that one? No time? So this is the response. You tell them, books are patient. They'll wait. Put it in your bookshelf, and they'll sit there and they'll patiently wait for years, decades. Okay, yeah, books are patient. All right, yeah, I'll take one. Another one, sometimes they say, no, it's too heavy. I tell them, this book is so heavy, it'll carry you. Okay. And sometimes they say, no, I have no money. What do you say then? I tell them, well, if I give it to you, will you read it? And sometimes they say, yeah, I'll read it. All right. So let them have it. You have no money? Let them have it. And then it's amazing how just a short time later, someone else gives a good donation to make up for it. This is the magic, right? Isn't it? Then Krishna makes up for it. Krishna's not poor. You see, if we give Krishna, Lakshmi comes. Wherever there's Krishna, there's Lakshmi. So Lakshmi will come. No problem. Just like this was a huge book distribution temple. And look, nice temple here. So many books going out. So, yeah. So what are some other excuses? I'm Christian. Right? So this is a good one for you. I distribute a lot of books to Christians. Tell them, now first you got to take the defense off. No, we're not trying to change your belief. Then you take the defense off, we say that. But there's always more to learn about God. Right? So then that's the positive. This is about God. This'll. And then also you could tell them, atheism is growing like anything. We're on the same side. Me and you, we're on the same side. We're trying to increase theism. And also we glorify Christ in these books, like especially the Bhagavad Gita. There's that glorification of Jesus Christ in the Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, that's a good way to distribute books to Christians. Or you could say that to any. You could say that to the Muslims. No, we're not trying to change your belief. I was at a university distributing books, and one Muslim came to the table, and I was showing him the book, and he said, "Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but if I take this book home, my parents will kill me." So I told him, God is more important than your parents. And he was shocked. Never heard that before. Yeah. Although it's true. I said to him, isn't it true? He said, yeah, it's true. But still, I can't take that book. So then, the next day, he comes to the table. He said, I'm so happy to see you're here. You won't believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said, I'm sleeping last night, and I had this dream where my parents were very cruel, foul language and just mean, and then the Bhagavad Gita, your book, it showed up and in the dream and it's glowing. And I'm thinking, well, I guess I should get this book, So then he got the book. Yeah. You see, I told you, God is more important than your parents, you see. So, yeah, and also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it stated, Prana, Artha, Dhyavacha, Etavaj Jamasapayam Dahinam Ihadeshu. Prana, Artha, Dhyavacha. That it's the duty of everyone to help others in their life. Therefore, one should give one's life. Prana, Artha. Of course, the best way to give our life is giving Krishna to others. Right? It's the best way. Then Artha, you give one's wealth. Right? Dhya, give one's intelligence. Krishna is known as Dhyampati. So we have to use our intelligence. People come up with excuses, so we gotta use our intelligence. Krishna gives intelligence. I was distributing once in Australia, and I knocked on a door, and the guy opened the door, and he saw I had the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, no, I'm not interested. I worship Satan. I said, okay. This book is about God, so you should know your enemy. He said, all right, good point. All right, I'll take one. Give a nice donation. So, yeah, Krishna gives intelligence. I was distributing once in New Zealand. Myself and a bhakta were going door to door. And we knocked on the door, and the person opened the door, and he saw I had the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, oh, wait here, I have something for you. And we didn't know what was up. So he came and he brought a Bhagavad Gita. He said, I got this book from you guys years ago. I haven't read it. I'm not going to read it. Give it to somebody that might read it, okay? So we tried to convince him, no, books are patient, I might read it later on. He said, no, I'm never going to read it. Give it to somebody that'll read it. All right. So we're leaving, and a car pulls up in the driveway. So I think, well, maybe he'll take it. So he stops, and I'm showing him the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, all right, yeah, looks interesting. All right, yeah, I'll take one. But my money is in the apartment. So he went back into the same apartment, holding the Bhagavad Gita that had just come out of that apartment. So he walks back in the apartment, and my friend and myself were praying, Krishna, please don't let his friend see him with the Bhagavad Gita. So he came back a couple minutes later and gave a donation, and we took off. See, the moral of the story is, if Krishna doesn't want to leave, he doesn't leave. So that person must have been very surprised to see the book still there, later on. Yeah. So, yeah, book distribution it's an adventure. It's a wonderful. As Prabhupada said to one devotee who was in Australia, he said, I hope you have what is it? He called it a transcendental adventure. Like, I hope you have success in the transcendental adventure of spreading Krishna consciousness. It's an adventure. And it's a nice adventure. So many wonderful experiences. Yeah. I was distributing books in the Miami airport, and I approached a family husband, wife, and a girl, maybe she was 10 years old. And I was showing the book to the lady. She was interested. And she told her husband, give him a donation. I want to read this. And he said, no, you're not going to read it. Come on, let's go. I said, no, I want to read the book. Can you give him a donation? No, it's just going to sit on the shelf. Come on, let's go. She got angry and she just walked away. And the little girl looked up at her father and said, Daddy, I hate you. I mean, can you imagine? He felt pretty bad. Then he reached into his pocket and gave me $10. And then she grabbed the book and went running down the hallway. Mommy, I got the book. You know? I hope it didn't cause a divorce. So, yeah, book distribution is a wonderful, wonderful activity. But you got to surrender. And that's why we're here anyway, right? Right? We want to surrender to Krishna. So that's Prabhupada said book distribution is the fast lane to surrender. You know, the highway. They have fast lane here also, yeah? So it's a fast lane to Krishna. Okay, anything else? Any other questions or comments? Okay, I hope you have all success. Yes. Oh yeah, we have these books. Oh, by the way, the Durban temple was number 2 in Africa last year, and Radha Raman Prabhu, you could come and accept this award. Durban, South Africa, 2023 was number 2 in Africa with 16,601. Now, Nairobi is always number 1. You guys got to beat Nairobi. Okay, yeah, we have some. I actually it took about 10 years to do this book. There's a lot of stories, a lot of realizations from senior devotees, you know, swamis and gurus, and yeah, a lot of stories. And so we're distributing them. How much? 150 rands. And I think you want me to sign it. If you want, I could sign it for you. So if anybody is interested, you could come and get a Brihat Mridanga. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he coined it the Brihat Mridanga, because you distribute, or if you have kirtan here, you might be able to hear the mridanga for a block away, if someone's really good, like this guy here. But this here, like I distributed books in the airports for 16 years. So I would distribute books in the airport, and books would go all over the world. And remember I was in Sweden one time, and one devotee came and he said, "Thank you, Vijaya, for distributing books. I got a book from you in Los Angeles, and now I've been a devotee for 6 years." And he's distributing books also. So book distributors make more book distributors. So there's a practical example of Brihat Mridanga. Books are going all over the world, and people are hearing the holy name. They're going all over the world. And this is also a tourist area, right? South Africa, Durban, right? People come here from around the world. So, Brihat Mridanga. So if anybody's interested, please come. You could, yeah. Yeah. He's on the sannyas list. Did you? He wants to take sannyas. He was instructed to take sannyas by his senior devotee, by his spiritual master. Wow, very good. He was practically homeless. He got a book, and now he's on his way to taking sannyas. That's pretty good. Very nice. You see, the result of book distribution. So, anybody want? Hey.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's give Vijay Prabhu a round of applause. Haribo! So devotees, like Vijay Prabhu said, the Treasures of Briyat Mridanga is on sale today for 150 Rand. We will take online orders as well, and we'll monitor the Facebook chat. The other two announcements we wanted to make. So I think we've got a lot of nectar from the session, and tomorrow morning we'll be having our monthly Sankirtan festival. So please join us. And for devotees who aren't able to make the morning, you can always message us and take a few books and distribute later. The other thing is Vijay Prabhu has a Google group that he shares Sankirtan stories on. So if you'd like to be added to that group, please come to us and we'll take your email address down. Or if you'd like to be added to our book distribution group as well. Thank you so much, and we also would like to give our deepest appreciation to Vijay Prabhu for coming to Durban, and Prabhu leaves tomorrow morning, so please make the most of Prabhu's association. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.